Sleepy Hollow Season 3, Episode 15, Incommunicado. Really enjoyed this one. It was very surprising. We got some interesting information about, how Abbie and Ichabod are actually witnesses through their bloodline, which I think is definitely going to lead back to some interesting stuff. Mostly from Abbie's side of things, because they always focus on her ancestors. And with Ichabod, it's like, well, he's already, super, super old technically, so they probably won't go into his ancestral history and stuff like that. But I thought that was a very interesting point. We, of course, had the Hidden One trapped in this episode. He goes, he's like, his plan for the last episode, I'm going to kill these guys, not really care about my girlfriend, which I don't even know what to think by the end of this episode. He found out the truth, which was conveniently skipped around, where it was like, I told the human servants before, and then it skipped all that stuff about her doing it to kind of keep everyone at peace. And then it went right to, I knew you guys had it. It's like, oof, that little look into what's happening with Abbie is not the best for relaying information. So she's in a really horrible position right now, and I just don't know where they're going to take it. She has a part of her box back, but of course she's not as powerful as the Hidden One. So I don't know where it's going. I doubt he'll destroy her, because he does need her power. Like, plain and simple, he's not at full strength, and he needs her power to at least, kind of hold things off. Although, he did go after them in this episode, so he was powerful enough to kill them both. But I don't know why he won't keep doing that. I'm curious, because they destroyed the emblem, but maybe, because they don't technically know it was destroyed, then they probably won't try to go after them again, because, they could actually wipe them out. But he has some information on her which she knows at the end, so I'm really worried about her now. I'm kind of freaked out, because it was like, alright, I think we all thought the same thing. He's being a douche, she's gonna turn on him, and then now, especially during this episode where he's like, I'm going full force, I'm gonna kill Ichabod, I'm gonna kill, find the other witness and kill her too. And then he gets, this little bit of information with the one person he trusted, where she didn't tell him this huge secret. That's going to be an issue for him, but like I said, I'm sure he won't kill her, and I think she might still end up turning on him. I don't know how that's really going to play out now that she's been busted in this situation, which I don't think it was known that Pandora knew that they actually had the emblem, because I don't remember a scene where she knew what was going on, but she may have seen it or something, and it was just like a really quick scene that I couldn't remember. But I don't remember them showing where she knew, and maybe it was because of when they were in the caves or whatever, but I was like, I don't remember a scene at all where she knew that they had the emblem, but she knew, and she didn't say anything, so she's in a bit of hot water. But had a pretty interesting monster in the beginning of this episode with the Banshee. I don't know why I love Banshees. I actually know exactly why. It's from this game, because this character says it, but I thought that was pretty cool. I always love characters that kind of do that, or any moment where sound deprivation, if it's done well, it's very cool. And I really love the way that they did it. It starts off with the middle-aged rock band guys, which I thought was really funny, and so they're just doing their music and stuff, and then all the sound kind of fades away, and I was like, that's actually very cool. And at first I thought it was just their instruments. I was like, alright, it kind of wiped out the technology, or it sucked the sound out of that, and then it was everything. And she absorbs all the sound in the area, and then shoots it back out as just a shriek. So I loved that. I thought that was really well done. When they did it with the ambulance, I thought it was even cooler, because it was an ambulance. So those are meant to be everyone can hear this, and then it's just nothing. So really enjoyed that scene. They actually end up having to kill it at the end, or I guess in the middle of the episode. But when they did that, I thought for sure that something would happen and Joe would be so close to death he would actually just naturally turn into the Wendigo. But that doesn't end up happening, but he does turn a little bit later on, because they need him as the monster to help destroy the barrier. So fortunately he survived. I don't know if I'm happy about it or sad about it that the Wendigo is completely out of his system, because I thought that would have been a cool thing to have come back. And technically, just because he turned back doesn't mean that it's out of his system. He just assumed it was, because he was like, I'm pretty sure it is, but he had no idea it was there to begin with. So, you never know. It could still be a thing that they decide to bring back, and I kind of hope they do, because I thought that was a cool concept. And maybe at some point, if they do it where he can kind of slightly control it and like gain super strength, like the strength of a Wendigo. I believe it has extra strength, but it was cool that they had him actually transform. The makeup was really well done because I didn't remember what it looked like at all from season one, so it may have looked different from that. But makeup I thought was pretty well done. Eventually, they do end up getting Crane out. Sadly, the emblem as well as the tablet is destroyed, but they do have from the hidden one himself. They actually have basically the whole thing written out in a way that they could translate it. He wrote it in some language. It wasn't English, unless that was the craziest cursive I've ever seen, which it couldn't have been. But they do have it now in a much more recent language that they can actually translate to English. So I thought that was really cool. So they have, technically, even though they had the tablets, they now have more information on this little notepad than they did with both tablets together. And, with the emblem destroyed, I'm curious where they're going to go with that, because Ichabod mentions, like, we don't have anything to protect us. They introduced the fact that it was helping them in basically the last episode, and now it's already gone. So that kind of sucks because it seemed like it was this big thing, but also it's kind of cool because it shows that they're just moving quickly through a lot of stuff. And so far they're doing it well, and I would assume whatever's coming up next should be pretty interesting as well. But I thought it was cool. It sucked that it was gone because I thought that was a great weapon for them. Plus, I liked the idea that they could sort of see where each other were. I thought that was a cool concept, and then it was like, it got even cooler. It was just flat out visuals of what was happening. And then it all got destroyed. I was like, oh, well, that sucks. They had like a pretty cool way to keep in touch and stuff. But sadly, that's gone. But they have all the information they need. They have the bloodline stuff, which I think is pretty interesting, and they'll probably jump back through that. And I felt like when they first mentioned that they might kind of revisit the idea of Abbie and Jenny's mother again, and maybe how she was trying to prevent them from prevent, because she probably didn't know which of her daughters. She was probably trying to prevent them from becoming witnesses or something like that, because of course she was involved in all that stuff, and that's kind of what drove her crazy. Or, well, technically she wasn't crazy, but everyone assumed she was. So I feel like we might get a little bit more about the mother, and it would be very interesting if it was from their father's side, which I think would be a very cool twist. But odds are it would be their mother, because their great grandmother, I believe, or like great grandmother is always the one that they talk about. So it'll probably be from their mom's side, because that's how it's been so far. But I thought that was actually very cool, a nice little bit of info there. But definitely excited for the next episode. As far as the thing with Joe becoming the Wendigo again, I'm sure we won't get to see that happen for a very long time if they decide to kind of, follow that route to begin with. So I want them to, personally, because I think it would just be really cool if he had this inner demon that he had to deal with. Or, kind of like a Hulk situation, if he could just draw strength from it. Maybe not just, turn into the Wendigo, because he would just kill people if he did that. But, kind of draw power from it. Maybe transform like a little bit, grow some tiny horns, something really weird, silly like that. But I think that would be cool, just something he'd have to deal with. But definitely looking forward to what they do with Pandora and the Hidden One, because he's pissed, she's busted, and I don't know what he plans on doing. He failed at taking, Abbie and Ichabod down this time, but if he wants to, he can go right back, but he probably won't, because I don't think either of them know that the emblem gets destroyed, because that's never happened before. So either it gets destroyed every time it activates, because it happened one time before. So either it gets destroyed every time it activates and it just reforms at some point, or it was destroyed because because Ichabod used it with the tablets in unison. So either way, gone, unfortunately. But looking forward to what they're going to be doing. Of course, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And with kind of the revelation that was thrown at the Hidden One, I want to know where you guys think they're going to be taking his relationship with Pandora. Like I said, I don't think she's going to die, because he's still, for whatever, like, it's weird now, because the fact that he went after them, it's weird thinking that he needs her power whatsoever, but apparently he does. He needs her power for an army, at least. So I think in that regard, she's still technically protected a little bit, but clearly he's super mad, and it's the second time it happened, because he found out that that's the reason he was in prison the first time, which was took 4,000 years for that to be broken. So I don't know what to really expect, but I'm sure she'll survive. But I definitely want to know how you guys think that's going to play out and what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.